In 2022, frozen food sales in the U.S. reached over $72 billion. Demand has been rapidly growing.
Throughout COVID, we had among the highest sales in all of the food space.
The products have to maintain proper temperature throughout a complex network of refrigerated trucks and cold storage facilities.
Should the temperature vary, it can become unsafe.
Behind this seemingly simple idea, there's a sophisticated supply chain keeping perishables frozen.
Each step is very critical.
What if I told you that the fresh steak or salad your parents ordered last week was frozen, vacuum sealed, and reheated in a bag before hitting their plate? Across 13 major American restaurant chains,
I've always thought fresh is best. If you want all of the nutrients, go fresh.
It's not that simple, Cherry. If you're talking fresh, as in picked from your allotment or your garden, then fresh is definitely the best.
How would you compare the nutritional properties between fresh and frozen?
So we're going to look at the vitamin C content. It's a very important vitamin that supports our immune system and keeps us healthy. Supermarket fresh is something entirely different because they harvest their vegetables, then they'll end up in transit and in the warehouse, and all of this time, they're losing some of that nutrient content.
the truth behind the kitchen doors looks very different from what the glossy menus suggest. Seniors who trust these places for comfort and reliability may actually be gambling with sodium overload, unsafe reheating practices, and cross-contamination. So which restaurants are quietly cutting these corners? And why are older diners at increased risk if they keep eating there? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
Percentages are remarkable in terms of what's tossed in frozen items because of inadequate cold storage temperature.
And the refrigeration tech is often outdated.
So the consumers are buying more frozen product. It's going to require more storage capability and a more efficient supply chain.
The perishables are poised to profit.
We're still relying on centuries-old technology.
The weak link in cold chain logistics, planes, trains, automobiles, is how to deliver any perishable good at the appropriate temperature.
Imagine paying for a steak that never touched a butcher's knife, never saw a grill from a real kitchen, and instead arrived vacuum sealed from a supplier weeks earlier. That's the quiet reality at many casual dining spots. Behind the scenes, the freezer does most of the cooking. What shows up as steaming entrees and sizzling platters is often the end product of microwave reheats and boiling from frozen bags. Chains rely on these shortcuts because they allow kitchens to serve hundreds of meals quickly with fewer staff. But the trade-off is a menu built on processed, pre-made food. The polished ads show cooks tossing pasta in pans and chefs cutting steaks to order.
It's definitely whizzing around.
A centrifuge removes the solids and leaves just the liquid fruit and veg. We put a sample of each one into a chromatography machine, which separates out the vitamin C.
It's a very good indicator of overall nutritional content.
So if there's a loss in vitamin C, there's generally a loss in all the other nutrients.
Exactly. So grab some sprouts, I'll grab some peas, and we'll go and do the analysis.
Which has more vitamin C, the frozen sample or the fresh sample?
Exactly. So the results are in. We'll start with carrots.
Oh.
There's not very much in it between the fresh and the frozen.
Yet kitchen employees explain something different. At Applebee's, insiders have admitted that the vast majority of the menu, nearly 8 out of every 10 items, comes pre-assembled or pre-packaged. That claim of made fresh daily is more about plating than actual preparation. Chili's follows a similar pattern with ribs and sauces arriving in plastic bags, pre-cooked at a factory, then reheated whenever the rush hits. Staff under pressure don't have time to build sauces from scratch. They tear open a pouch, warm it, and pour.
So we've got all our samples, the Brussels sprouts, the peas, the carrots, the raspberries, the onions. We'll put it in here.
Exactly. That's going to come through here into what we call a spectrophotometer, and that shines different wavelengths of light into the sample.
Even Olive Garden, known for endless breadsticks and giant bowls of salad, uses tricks that pose problems. Salads are portioned and bagged in advance, ready to be pulled straight from storage. The breadsticks that seem piping hot are frozen, baked off in batches, and brushed with butter afterward. The bigger concern hides in the numbers. One chicken entree at Olive Garden contains more sodium than an older person should consume in an entire day. What feels like a simple meal adds stress to a senior's heart and kidneys without them realizing it. The truth is that marketing hides the risks. From scratch has become code for frozen reheats. And if the freezer is already a health hazard, what happens when food sits out uncovered for hours? That's where the danger only grows. Picture a buffet tray of chicken wings sitting under a heat lamp for 2 hours. Not cooked to order, not safely cooled, just sitting there until the next person scoops them up. That single image shows the risk in buffet-style restaurants and rushed high-volume kitchens across the country. The danger isn't just about food losing flavor, it's about bacteria growing every hour food hovers in that temperature range between hot and cold. Chains like Golden Corral illustrate the problem clearly. Raw chicken stored in the same coolers as ready-to-eat vegetables. Employee reports describe cases where meat juices spill onto salad greens, making cross-contamination a constant risk. Once food prepared earlier in the morning hits the buffet line, the hazards multiply. Sauces and gravies may sit uncovered for hours, ladles dipping in and out without regard to freshness or safe timing. By the time evening customers arrive, what they spoon onto their plates has passed through dozens of hands and hovered too long under weak heat lamps. Walk into a Chili's or Buffalo Wild Wings, and another level of neglect appears away from the buffet stations. Moldy ice machines delivering drinks, soda nozzles with a coating that hasn't been cleaned properly, condiment tubs that stay open far too long. These aren't one-time mistakes. They start to look like cost-cutting routines in kitchens moving faster than staff training can keep up. At Buffalo Wild Wings, some diners have received chicken undercooked enough to pose a direct risk of salmonella. Younger bodies might battle through with food poisoning, but for older customers, the consequences can be far more severe. Even desserts tell the story. Cakes or puddings left uncovered all day form a skin across the top, a quiet signal of hours of exposure. Health inspectors have documented repeated violations at chains like IHOP and Denny's, from poor cooling methods to food left at unsafe temperatures. System shortcuts, not rare accidents, drive the problem. And with each shortcut, senior health is placed on the line. With frozen meals and buffet neglect exposed, the final warning is no longer about taste, it's about choosing safety for family at the dinner table. The logos outside these restaurants promise comfort and familiarity, but behind those doors sit frozen meals, sodium-packed dishes, and shortcuts that put seniors in real danger. What once felt like safe family spots now carry hidden costs for hearts, blood pressure, and immune systems that can't afford extra stress. The choice is in your hands. Share this knowledge with your family, protect those most at risk, and think before ordering from the very chains that claim to care. Protecting health doesn't start with prescriptions or medical visits. It begins with the food we allow on the table every single day.